Okay, good morning. At this point, we're doing lesson 2.12. However, when I did this lesson with the class, it was load shedding at the time. Okay, so in order for to have it all on record, or the videos thereof, I'll do this recording. Okay, so today we're looking at quadratic equations, and this is for exercise 2.12. And exercise 2.12 is on page 43. Okay. So now we're looking at nature of roots. Okay, so we are told there, in general, there are two root solutions to the quadratic equation. However, under certain conditions, the two roots may be equal, given the impression that there is only one root. It can also happen that the quadratic equation has solutions that are non-real numbers. So the numbers doesn't exist. In that case, we say no solution normally. And it could have two different roots, rational or irrational numbers. So I'm looking at example 1, and example 1 is on page, also on page 43. Okay, so the question says, solve for x. You've got x squared minus 3x plus 5. Okay, so when we solve for x, we're going to use a quadratic equation formula, which is minus b plus minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. Okay, remember in the previous lesson we spoke about the quadratic formula. So we'll align the board. Minus b plus minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. Now coming from this standard formula, the equation was in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c, which is standard form. Your a value is 2, your b value is minus 3, your c value is 5. So I say x is equal to minus 3, which is plus 3 plus minus the square root of negative 3 squared, which is the same as 3 squared, minus 4. My a is 2 and my c is 5. And this is all over 2 times 2. So that gives us x. 3 squared is 9. Okay. And 4 times 2 is 8 times 5 is 40. 9 minus 40 is negative 31. Okay. So it's 3 plus minus the square root of negative 31 over 4. So if you look at this equation here, what can we say about the roots? What can we say about the solutions of the sum? Since delta is negative and it punches in the calculator, you'll see that the square root of a negative number does not exist. Now say we didn't know that. So we go 3 plus the square root of 3 squared minus 4ac over 2a, which is 4. You see, it gives us a math error. It's because the square under the square root is negative, which means to say that the roots of this equation is imaginary or not real. So if we have to describe the nature of these roots, we would say it is non-real roots. Okay, or we would have written no solution. Okay, so saying there's no solution, that means to say there's no roots or no solution to the sum. Whereas non-real roots mean to say the roots doesn't exist to us. Okay. Okay, so let's look at example 2. Example 2 is also on page 43. Okay. So here we are given again the questions again to solve for x, but x squared, 4x squared minus 12x plus 9 is equal to 0. So again, if I use my quadratic formula, I'm sure this what's the name works out. This can factorize into rational values. But let's see, using the quadratic formula, it says minus b plus minus the square root of b squared minus 4. Your a value is 4 and your c value is 9 over 2a. Okay, so this is x is equal to 12 plus minus the square root of. Now 144, 12 squared 144 minus 4 times 4 is 16 times 9 is also 144. So that gives us 0 here over 2 times 4. So it's going to be 12 plus minus 0 over 8, which is 3 over 2. Okay, so as you can see here, the roots are the same. Okay, there's two equal roots. If they ask you to describe the nature of this roots, we can say roots are real, rational, and equal in this case. Now I know in 2.12 they ask you to draw a table, to complete the table. If I do the table on these two sums here, the first example and the second example, the table you had, just pull this up a bit. Let's pull this down. So if I look at number 1, the table was as follows. The first one was the roots. The second one was the roots of the equation. Then you got the delta, which is b squared minus 4ac. This particular delta was b squared minus 4ac. Then you add the nature of the roots, if it's real or non-real. And the next one was irrational or irrational. Okay, you have rational or irrational, and the equal or unequal. Okay.
Oh, so I'm fine with him. Sorry, because the bus
no
is still
problem.
not here.
It's fine.
Okay.
So if you look at the first one, the roots was non-real roots, so you say no solution. Okay. Then we have delta, which is b squared minus 4ac. Now remember, that is your discriminant, your delta here. And the delta was negative 31. So that was negative 31 there. And then, is it real or non-real? Of course it's non-real. Is it rational or irrational? It's not. The number has to be real to be one of those categories. Equal, unequal, it also has to be one of those categories. Okay. Then in number 2, again, the solution here was 3 over 2. Delta came to be 0. It is real. Okay. Is it rational or irrational? It was rational. And it's equal. Equal roots. Okay. That's how you complete the table. Alright. At this point, I'll stop the video.